Walking away from a woman can be one of the most powerful decisions a man makes, yet many men misunderstand what it truly means. They often believe that leaving is the same as losing. They think the man who keeps chasing, keeps proving himself, and keeps showing up no matter how he is treated, is the one who eventually wins her over. In reality, that belief has caused many men to lose opportunities and respect for themselves. A woman's reaction when a man walks away is rarely about logic. It is usually about psychology. Even if she seemed indifferent before, something shifts internally when a man who genuinely valued her removes himself from her life. The moment that absence appears, her mind begins to process things differently. Thoughts surface that she never paid attention to while he was still around. Feelings that were buried or ignored start to come forward quietly. The man she may not have fully appreciated suddenly becomes someone she cannot stop thinking about. This is not about manipulation or playing mind games. It is about understanding what often happens emotionally when presence turns into absence. Walking away creates a space where reflection begins, and many realizations appear only after the connection is gone. When a man disappears from a woman's daily life, the silence he leaves behind can feel louder than anything he ever said. Small habits that once felt ordinary, morning messages, random calls, or simply seeing his name appear on her phone, suddenly vanish. She may have acted as though those moments were routine, but their absence is often felt immediately. The gap appears in her day before she even has time to understand why it feels strange. What once blended into the background of her life now becomes noticeable simply because it is gone. That silence forces reflection. Without the usual interaction, she begins replaying past conversations and moments in her mind. Things she said, things he did, and moments she might have taken for granted start to resurface. When he was present, she could avoid that deeper reflection because the relationship was still ongoing. Once he leaves, there is nothing left to distract her from examining the situation honestly. Another shift happens when the pursuit stops. For many people, confidence in a connection is partly influenced by the attention they receive. When someone consistently shows interest, it naturally creates a sense of reassurance. That reassurance can become so familiar that it starts to feel permanent. But when the attention suddenly disappears, uncertainty often replaces that comfort. Questions begin to form, questions she may not have considered before. She may wonder if she misjudged the situation, or if she pushed the connection too far without realizing it. Along with that uncertainty can come a quiet form of panic. It is not always visible and rarely expressed openly. On the surface, she may appear calm, telling friends she does not care or that she has moved on easily. Yet, internally, there may be a sense of losing control over a situation she once felt comfortable managing. When the dynamic shifts and the man who used to pursue is no longer present, the balance changes in a way she did not expect. Walking away can also change how clearly she sees the man who left. While he was around, certain qualities might have been overlooked simply because they were always there. His patience, consistency, and effort may have felt normal rather than valuable. But once those qualities disappear from her daily life, they often become easier to recognize. Absence sometimes reveals the importance of things that once felt ordinary. Over time, comparisons may start to appear naturally. When new people enter her life, they may be measured, consciously or unconsciously, against the standards set by the man who left. This does not always happen immediately, but it can become noticeable when she realizes that certain qualities she once experienced are now difficult to find again. Sometimes the realization that something meaningful was lost arrives slowly rather than all at once. What she shows publicly after someone leaves and what she experiences privately can be very different. Outwardly, life may continue as usual, spending time with friends, posting on social media, and appearing unaffected. Yet in quiet moments alone, memories and thoughts about the past connection may return more often than she expected. Reflection becomes easier when there is distance, and many people process emotions more honestly in private than they do in public. Occasionally, a woman may reconnect with a man after he has walked away. Some returns come from genuine reflection and growth, where both people understand what went wrong and approach the situation differently. Other times, a return may simply come from discomfort with losing someone who once provided attention and stability. The difference between those two reasons can determine whether reconnecting leads to something healthier or simply repeats the same patterns. The real power of walking away does not come from trying to create a reaction. It comes from self-respect. A man who recognizes his value understands that he does not need to stay in a situation where he is not appreciated. Leaving quietly, without bitterness or drama, often speaks louder than arguments or explanations. In the end, presence carries weight. The role someone plays in another person's life is not always fully understood until it disappears. Sometimes the clearest understanding of a connection comes only after it's gone, and a person who truly knows their worth does not spend their energy convincing someone else to see it.